I found it strange that George and Esther both didn't write the letters to each other. I thought it was like kind of ironic. They both thought they were communicating with each other, but actually had other people writing the letters uh, to them for each other. I just thought it was a little like shocking and like a little strange. Um, Values I think that are being expressed in like themes in this play. I think the feeling of being like needed, like being like like dependent on someone. I think this is shown like as Esther agreeing to marry George, even though she was like aging and like I don't know if they're like actually in love, but like she still agreed because she was like getting old. Another thing I think is race also played a factor, such as like racial inequality, and how you can like see like just like how like African Americans are always like the laborers on the spectrum of like jobs in the play society. And while I was reading, I circled it's like I thought it was interesting like when Esther ripped the quilt. I thought that was like a symbol, for something greater than that. I thought the quilt maybe could like represent her ambitions or dreams and hopes of like finding someone. Um, so I thought it was interesting after doing a little more research on that, what the quilt like kind of symbolized throughout the play. I think the play reinforces the understanding of African American inequality, um, especially during this time period where African Americans didn't really have that much rights at all compared to what they do today, and um, as like inequality is like slowly diminishing. Um, I think the relationship in this play represents how African Americans have like similar and like almost like the same like ideals and like ambitions and goals in life as like white Caucasians. It shows that how like even though like there's different races, they both share like the same like kind of values within their culture. Uh, and then I think racism, like inequality and like racial inequality is still present today. And like stereotypes are still widely present today. It's like uh, uh, stereotypes are like generalizations, like about the whole like culture and itself and like the race. Even though just like it's based on like a non-correlated like like few people that like bring those stereotypes to the culture. But like you can see like examples of this. There's many like successful African Americans that are doing a lot more things, like contributing into society and like having happier lives than like white people. Uh, and then two of my questions I have were: why do you think Esther gave George money after like knowing he was like dishonest and like unloyal? And then why do you think Esther would consider the idea of marrying someone who's never really she'd like met? It's kind of like today's Tinder per se.